Alright, welcome to my channel. I'm CD. I am a VTuber fairy who creates a lot of stuff for humans to enjoy. I like to create fantasy worlds in particular. Now I'm just dived into live2D and start doing some live2D stuff. So I'll show you how to prep your live2D model. And here's my model Angel. I'll show you all the layers so you know how to design your own model with layers and movable parts. Alright, now I turn off the layers. She start to look like nothing. Alright, first is the face layer, of course. In live2D you want to do frontal face always, so you can it's easier to rig frontal to the side. And when you rig it to the side, the turning usually is roughly 30 degrees to 45 degrees. Turn like a quarter, like a kind of a quarter view. Some people have managed to rig all the way to the side profile, though I would love to know how to do that. Anyway, and then this neck. I did a really soft shadow on the neck, so I don't have to keep the shadow on a separate layer, but you can do the shadows on a separate layer if you want to. That will give you some flexibility in terms of moving and covering the face lines if you want the head tilt to be really high and remove the line art on the face. Then is the year on the side, just kind of copy and paste once you finish one year. There's not a whole lot of movement on the year usually, so you don't need to do too much fancy layering for the years. This is a head on the back. So I have hair on the back and the top of the head to be the same color. I don't like bold heads, so there we go. Top same color, so it's like she has a shaved head, but it's the same color as her hair, so that it is some cushioning effect if I need to move some hair out of the way at different angle later on in the rigging, and it won't show. I won't expose myself a bald head. Anyway, so this is the part. And mouse, I need to show you the mouse layer, so just separately on its own. This is the inner mouse. The inner mouse should be the shape of the largest opening that you want for your mouse. So her is a Y, like a Y shape, like this. Yeah, so that's how big I want it maximum. So I don't need anything bigger than that. Like that. And that's the tongue. Some people have very fancy tongue. You can stick it out. I decided not to do that because Angel is not really a character that does that very often. Then the lower skin with the lower lips at the top, and then the top skin at the top. You don't need too much cushioning outside because the live2D is going to stretch it naturally when you rig. And if you have too much cushioning too close to the edge of the face, you can run into issues where the skin is coming out of the face constantly. Then you have to move it in a lot, which I ran into with my CD rig, because CD has a really large maximum mouse opening. And then there is the nose, the button nose. The girl's nose are very easy to deal with. For guys, I would keep the shadow of the nose on a separate layer, just so that when I want to morph it, I can change the shadow at will. Then it's the eyes. For the eyes, everything is going to be clipped to your eye white, so make sure your eye white has a nice shape, large enough shape. And then the iris in the center. And then your lower eyelid. Let's see, show me lower eyelid. My lower eyelid is not a whole lot of skin, but it's a good idea to do some skin to have to have some cushioning. So when you want to move your lower eyelid up for a good smile. Then it's the top eyelid skin, which I didn't do a whole lot with. It's used to cover her some of. It's just really there for design, yeah. So after you finish one eye, you can just dupe and do the other eye. You can also keep your iris black or the darkest color of your eye in design, so you can have more, and just put a lot of shiny stuff on top, and so you can have a lot of range in terms of rigging if you want one of those googly bubbly irises. And this is blush. I have the blush on a separate layer. And the eyebrows, they have to be separate as well, so for maximum rigging flexibility. And then her blue face and arm. Let's turn it off. Oops. Her arm, I did really fancy arm. And end up not using it. You have no idea. Anyway, it's just, I realized that rigging every individual finger was a lot for me, so I decided to do the hand just as one thing. So I have, that's the palm and her wrist, pinky, ring finger. You don't have to do it like this. You can just do one. The best economic decision would be to do one hand just like this. One flat layer is fine. You can keep all the fingers on separate layers. On one separate layer if you want to move it just a little bit for acting, like that. Most people just have the hand as this one thing. That's all. That if you are going to glue your model, then you don't, like an actual arm, you want to glue the actual arm, then just keep it with layer drawing, like just normal line art is fine. I did the blur for cushioning it, if she's moving her arm and I don't want it to be, I want the layering to not be obvious. So I ended up not need to glue my model at all. If you handle it this way with the blur, you don't need to glue your model, but the other way, if you have crisp line art, you can glue your model. Okay, that's the body. The body, I have quite a ton of stuff on it. That's, turn off the cape. The neck gem is its own thing. I actually have too many layers. I don't need all the layers. Yeah, that's the bottom. Each of them is one separate thing. And that's the buckle. Left and right cape. Most people don't do cape because they can run into the arms, and that could be kind of troublesome, which I ran into. But if you want to do cape character, make sure there's a back. This at the bottom, all the way at the bottom of your layer, and then the capes should be separated left and right for the physics that you'll apply to it later. All right, then we go to the hair. Here I have a bottom tail hair. This is because her hair is tied to the front and one tail. If it's a loose hair, then you will have multiple hair string that you will have to you can group them, which is less work, but and have a few strings out for flex for just for being fancy. Then this ribbon, left and right ribbon, I definitely, if anything is left and right, just make sure they are separated parts if you don't want them to move in an unnatural way, especially when the character tilt. You know, when they tilt, the physics gonna tilt differently if they are separated parts. If they are one part, then it's definitely going to move at the same time. Okay, here I have separate layers. There is the cushioning hair. This hair is the cushioning hair for when she turned her head. Yep. Then is the major part of her frontal hair. And then is the last string part of it. After you've, usually I'll say like frontal hair, you want to have, definitely have the cushion hair for when her head turned to the side. Then you want the, you definitely want the smaller parts to be separate parts. And then the emotes. The emotes is there's I love emotes. You can do one if you have multiple characters. You can do one set of emotes and just copy over. Okay, this is how she has little wings. Her wings are not real wings. It's just emotes. Okay, and then the hearts, they are all separated items so that they can move at different speed and different angles. And that's her wah face. Her mad sign, star. Yeah. And after, for the emotes, it's fairly easy to rig the emotes, and later on you just pair it to her face angle. But enjoy doing your emotes. They are the fun stuff to do. And you may need different hand set if you want your hands, if you want complex hand movement. A lot of people skip that. But if you want complex hand movement, what I did is I just copy my arms and position them, and then rig them later. That way it's much easier. And this is the gist of it, is how you prep all the layers of your model. I will see you in the next video when we start rigging. And that's a wrap, folks. See you in the next video. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions for future videos, welcome to just let me know. And hit that like button if you enjoyed this content. Thank you.